Let's talk about your old hunk of shit. Sorry. Your prized possession, old piece of junk that you're working on. It's okay to admit it, because everybody's got to start somewhere. That's where it all starts. You start with an old pooper, and then you take some of the poop out of it. And pretty soon it's not such a pooper no more. You're going to have to, if you're doing it yourself, and you got to start somewhere, well, you got to start by peeling off the layers. We'll put it that way. One thing to keep in mind when you start tearing into these old poopers, and this goes for everybody. This goes for Pontiacs, Chevs, Dodges, Fords, Opals, Austin Minis, Alfa Romeos, whatever it is. Everybody, when they build a car, they build them all the same. And what I'm going to get at here is cars are built, everything is built as units. There's units are assembled on the floor, and then all these different units are put together to make a car. So you need to get that, you need to understand that when you're taking your car apart. Because a lot of that stuff, it complicates things. And I mean, it can really complicate shit in a hurry. Like, it can make you wonder, and it can make you cranky, let's put it that way. And I will show you, case in point that made me think about this, was working on the old fiber rubber bird here. I'm going to get at it. This is going to be bad for a sec. So a lot of this car I didn't take apart. I got it, no motor, no, et cetera, and a bunch of stuff was already taken out of it. But one thing, as I was piecing things together, it did make sense to me. So the fuel line stopped there. Not sure what was going on there. Then through all the junk, I found a metal line here, which is this guy here, which is coming up to that hose there. Focus. Now, with that big hunk of iron sitting there, you're never going to get that line out of there, right? And the reason that that's like that is because when the factory built this car, all this black stuff, they assembled that entire thing as a unit. I mean, it might not have had tires on it, but that's all it was missing was tires. All the brakes were there, all the lines were there, the hardware was there, everything was bolted on, tightened, torqued, assembled, ready to go in there as a unit. When they did that as a unit, they would have set that little fuel line in there long before this motor went in there. Because when this motor is in there, you're never going to get that little fuel line out of there. It curves up there and it goes through the center of that motor mount. You can see it poking out. It's going in between the two pieces of that mount. With that motor in there, you ain't never getting that little line out of there. You probably don't even know that it's there because you can't see none of it. But yeah, when this goes in, so this entire thing is created it's manufactured, it's put together, it's assembled, and then they wheel it in and bolt it up to the bottom of the car and everybody's home. The point of that is a lot of that shit is designed to go in there in that manner. You see what I'm saying to you? There's a lot of stuff in here that you can't get out unless you take something else out. Whereas when that was assembled on a bench, some dude just walked up, threw stuff at it, and bolted it down. But when it's all assembled as a unit, and you're trying to peel it apart, peel the layers out of there, well, a lot of them layers ain't coming out of there with the layers on top laying. You know what I'm saying to you? You're not going to get it apart unless you understand that. So then you got to have a look at the big picture to try to figure out just what in the hell they done. What did I do with my bolt? I had a bolt here. God damn it. Just before I come over there, I had a bolt in my hand. What did I do with it? Yeah, like it can make it tricky. It can make it tricky while you're trying to get it apart. And it can make it tricky while you're trying to put the damn thing back together again. Because a lot of the hardware and a lot of the way everything is designed to work, well, that's how it's got to work. Because that's how GM made it. That's how Dodge made it. That's how Ford made it. That's how they made it. That's what they done. They're not working with you. They're working against you. Unless you understand that. But really, they're still working against you. Even if you understand all that, ain't nobody's your friend. They're still working against you. They're a bunch of arseholes when it comes to... Nobody likes them. So that carries on throughout the entire car, throughout the entire project. If you've got a vehicle with a bolt-in dash, a lot of vehicles, the dash is just held in with screws under the windshield and bolts in the sides. Guaranteed that entire dash is assembled before it gets bolted into the car. The gauges are in it, the wiring harnesses are in it, everybody's home. They bolt it into the car, then they'll hammer the wiring harness into the firewall, and it's done. So if you're trying to take that out piece by piece, that's bitchy, because it ain't made to come out that way. And it's going to fight you. So just be prepared for a fight, is what I'm saying. Because you got one coming. So yeah, everything on these vehicles that they can do as a unit, they do as a unit, and that's for time. Because all these different units are being assembled at the same time. And then boom, they all just go, they all just throw the car together in the blink of an eye, and away it goes. Then it's sitting out on the lot and it's for sale. And then they start making their money. I really did put that damn bolt down somewhere, and I don't know what I done. What did I do with it? I got up and went over there. Where did it go? Son of a bitch, I need it. So a lot of that stuff, after you've done all your work to your car and you're going to put the thing back together again, you're going to have to do it the same way, because that's the way the car was designed. So you might find yourself, if you haven't done it 100 times already, which you probably haven't, that's when you run into putting stuff together and then taking it apart. Oh, I got to put that in. Because I guarantee that little fuel line that I showed you in there ain't no way that I would shoehorn that thing in there with this motor in here. The best I would be able to do is I might have been able to go underneath the car and separate that frame mount for the motor, the two pieces, because it runs through the middle of it. So I'd have to try to get the bottom half of that off. And chances are pretty good by the time I got to that point, I would most likely have the header and the oil sender and everything on that side, and that would all have to come out again. So there really is a lot of times when you go one step forward and two steps back, there's a lot of times that's what happens. You missed it. I missed it, they missed it, you missed it, it got missed. Take your time. When you're taking something apart, it's easy to get into, because I do it all the time myself, it's easy to get into, I got to get this done today. I've only got Saturday to work on this. I got to get as much done today as I can. Well, when you get to a certain part in the project, that's fine, because there is stuff that you can just go, watch out, and just, get shit done. But there's also at times that you just got to slow down and think about future you having to put the thing together again. If you auto-wrecker everything, cut hoses, cut wires, oh, I'm getting a new harness anyways, I'll just cut all those, I'm doing this anyways, I'll just cut all that. Well, that's sure. I mean, if you could work like that, then that's all right. But when you're cutting all those wires and shit, and then you get your new harness and you go to put it together, well, all your wiring ends and stuff, they're all gone. So you don't really know. And your old harness is all greasy and dirty and oily, and it's probably all been painted black, when you spray bombed your engine compartment flat black in 1987, whatever. So it's pretty tough to trace that shit, because now that you whacked it all off, all you got is these wire ends. But you got a new harness that's all laid, it's got all the right ends on it, but you don't know where the hell they all go, because you just whacked them all off of there, and you don't know how to route it all. Because harnesses and stuff, they're a set length. They're made to go from your fuse box to get to whatever accessory they're going to. They're not made to go around the world 3 times and then wind up there. So you don't have all the wire in the world to do it. You got to have it laid out the way that it's got to be laid out. And if you just whack that thing apart and threw a stick of dynamite in there to get it out of there, well, you're going to have a hard time putting that back together again. So just take your time a little bit. Slow up a little bit. It's a thing. If you don't have the time to do it, but you have the money, you should probably buy one. And by buy one, I mean buy a car. Don't sweat that you didn't build the damn thing. Who gives a rat's ass what people say about you not building it? If you don't have the time to build it, but you have the money to get it, then you're just going to put gray hairs in your head trying to do it. Because That's when you're going to bail on a hobby, is when you've been working on that car for 4 years, but really you've only got 6 months worth of work done to it because you just don't have the time to do it. And you got to keep on taking shit apart and putting it back together and taking shit apart because you didn't do it correctly in the right sequence or whatever the first time because you didn't have the time to do it. Topic. The point was, take your time. When you're taking it apart, take your time because it'll go together quicker. If things go faster, slow down. Don't make no sense, but that's the way it is. So yeah, that's pretty much that's all the meat in that sandwich. I think I'll probably just leave this one there as a quick one. Just an explanation, like I said, to people that might not, if you're starting this fresh and you happen to be the one of 14 people that watch this video, just think when you're trying to take something apart, if you can't get it apart, just stop, stand back. Don't start reefing and ripping and cutting because the goddamn thing just won't come out of there. There's a reason that the goddamn thing just won't come out of there. So think about how it had to go in there. Stand back and have a look at it because you might not be able to get it out of there. You might be best off to just leave that thing in there for now until you get more of it apart. Then, because if you can't find a new one of those things that you wrecked taking it out, well, where are you? Where are you? You're nowheres. So, yeah, I don't know. Wasn't much there, I guess, but that's it. Thanks for watching.